Hello everybody and welcome to the electronics tutorial. This is the first tutorial. I'll be going through a series and I'll just go through very basic stuff, but before you even begin, just as an introduction, I'll just go through all these parts right here, and I will also just give you some advice and tips on what to get and how you can get these equipment. So first, we'll start with the breadboard. So this, as you can see, is a breadboard. It's just a board where you can connect and plug in all your electronics. And back in the days, this was used quite often, and this was basically the source for pretty much all types of electronics. But it was very old, a long time ago. So in this whole series, we're going to use this as our main source, or we're going to be using a bigger circuit board, which I'll introduce halfway through the series. So as you can see, this is the breadboard. It's got numbers going along the sides here, and it's got the positive and negative locations where you can plug in your battery and test your projects out. So it has got these clips at the side where you can connect another piece of the breadboard onto here. So yeah, these pieces you can just plug them and then you can add like a huge wide breadboard. The next thing is you're gonna need some wires. These wires I got with the breadboard. In this package I got so many equipment. I got this box, and in this box I got an LED light, resistors, buttons, and all of that. Yeah, and a bunch of wires. So that's the wires, and they actually fit in perfectly. So if you wanna take a look here, yeah. So there are the wires. Next up we have. I actually found this It's just like a switch button. You don't need it. It's just if you want it, then you can. It's just like you switch it on and off, and you use the black wire of the battery, connect it onto that, and then you've got it running. So you don't really need this. I just have it. I bet I'm not even gonna use it in this tutorial series. Next up we have a motor. So what I've done is I've just soldered this part here, right here, both of these parts, and connected it obviously to a wire. And if I actually plug this into the battery, and I can just actually do that now. So these are the two wires. Make sure you're not touching them if you do get the pieces, because it might interact and not actually work anymore. So we've got that there, and the motor will be running now. So yeah, it's getting the battery power from the battery supply, and yeah, just connect it and runs. So that's the motor. You don't really need it as well, because I'm not really gonna use this. It's just for basics, but yeah. So that's the motor. And next up we have the main source. This is a battery pack. You buy this outside piece, like this piece where you put the batteries in. You can find it anywhere. I'll have a link in the description below for the battery pack, because this will be necessary. So all the parts that are necessary, I'll have a link in the description so that you can convince your parents to get them. It's a good tip. So these are 1.5 volts, as it's written there. Which you can't really see, but yeah, it's 1.5 volts. Each cell is 1.5 volts, so that makes up the battery 3 volts. And make sure you've connected it to the right side. And yeah, what I've done is I've got a wire cutter, and then I just like kind of put it off. So I just took the ends off so that it doesn't like mess up when you're trying to connect it to the breadboard. So if you want to do that, you can do that, which is quite helpful, so you might as well. And here, I've actually got 3 LED lights. The first one is a yellow one, and it's a good one because it's got a long leg and a shorter leg. this means that it's a proper LED and you can use it quite happily and very comfortably. But these two lights, what I did was I cut them off this circuit board right here because I found this and I just thought it's not necessary any longer, so I just cut these two off. So it's gonna be a trouble for me even using them, but I'll try my best whether I can. I'm gonna test them, so if they do work, good news for me. They would be necessary for your first project, so yeah. The last thing you will need is a resistor or a couple of resistors. So as I said, if you do get a chance to buy a Raspberry Pi set, they're only about £35, £40, which is really good. And in this box you get a bunch of resistors, and I think they're 10k or 100k ohms in power, so that's quite powerful, and you wouldn't need to buy any other ones. So there's the resistor, which actually fits in perfectly with the breadboard as well, so it's the other side, so it's quite easy. So yeah guys, that's all the equipment that you get to choose from whether you want or not, but the ones that are necessary, I will have them in the description below. So this is just an introduction to my electronics series. So in my next tutorial, what we will be doing is going through how the battery power runs and how it works, and possibly operating an LED light. So make sure by the next tutorial you get an LED light and a battery pack and a resistor, because you will need a resistor for the LED lights. And the last thing is, obviously, if you're working on electronics, you're gonna need a wire. You don't necessarily have to get these wires, but you can just like cut these off and use them. So if you have some spare electronics at your house, then it's quite a sneaky thing to do, but you could just grab one and then cut the wires off. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I haven't really explained anything about electronics yet, but in my next tutorial we're gonna start off with it, and it's gonna be amazing, I hope. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.